guys. I wanted to put a lesson together talking about how to, take all of this stuff, notes and scales and chords and whatever you're using to make music with, and how to take all that stuff and feel like you're more emotionally connected to it. I took a sort of poll among guitar players online and asked, what are you guys most interested in learning how to get better at? And there was kind of a general theme that kind of ran through the thread, which is, how do you take stuff and be more musical with it? So it kind of ranged from how do you take notes and feel like you're expressing your feelings. How do you take notes and make it sound like you're not playing scales? How do you take notes and play through chord progressions and make it sound like, there's a seamless flow through the chords? And all that stuff, there's so many things to get to, of course, when talking about music, there's so many things. But here's an aspect of that issue that we all deal with and try to figure out how to get better at. This thing I was playing up front is probably the simplest thing I've ever composed. Let me just play it for you. I'm going to play the melody to give you an idea of how simple it is. That's it. It keeps. So while I play a lot of complicated music and a lot of fast music, I like that just as much. It's sort of a balance to all the other crazy stuff that I do. So the reason I sort of use that as an example is just how you can take just a couple notes and really feel like you're connected to it and really feel like you're expressing yourself. Because there's this tendency to think that, learning more information, learning more scales and chords and, more stuff, that somehow it's going to make you sound better. But it's just not the case because, let's just pretend that we all knew every chord, every scale, every piece of information that you could possibly gather on the guitar. You would still be left with the issue of, well, how do I take all this stuff and make music with it? So a really good exercise to help sort of kind of get this going is to play out of time. This has been a really helpful part in my development to take notes and feel like I'm connected to them. So what can be good to do is just to take maybe a scale, or maybe not even a scale, but just maybe a couple notes from a particular key. So, from this, I'm playing the notes F, G, and B flat. I'm just kind of hanging on this G to F for a moment. So, if you were to just take one note. I realized I played two notes. I said to take one note, but to just take one, two, maybe three notes at the most, and to get your ear really inside the notes so that you're really hearing all of the nuances of what you're playing. So when you think about a note, there's actually a lot of information in a note. There's the attack, there's the sustain, there's the decay, there's the sound of the note, the tone. There's all this kind of information that's happening, and what we want to try to do is kind of get inside of that to where we really hear what's going on with the note. or notes. So to kind of get access to that world, you want to spend some time kind of meditating on some notes where you're not thinking about, this chord or that chord, or I'm soloing on this key or that scale or whatever, stuff that you're having to think about. And even just the time, like eliminating the time, getting rid of having to think about pulse and am I playing in time well or anything like that. And rhythm, just, eliminating even rhythm, and just sort of simmering in 1, 2, I would say 3 at the most. I wouldn't exceed 3 notes, because what you want to do is not have to think, basically, and just really hear. As guitar players, it's really easy to kind of go up and down notes really fast. In other words, it's easy on the guitar to play ahead of your ear. Like your fingers can go faster than what your ear can comprehend. And that could be cool, as an effect. But I think in terms of excelling at feeling like you're really emotionally connected to what you're playing, it's really helpful to spend some time just playing, like I said, 1, 2, 3 notes at the most, and playing them in a way that you feel like you can hear some melodic content to it. So again, just using that tune I was just playing for you as an example, I think anybody can really hear the melodic content of it, because it's a total of 4 notes is what it is. So yeah, I would say, maybe even putting on maybe 1 chord. I know I said not to think about chords, but if it's just 1 chord, you wouldn't have to really think, right? If it was just, say, G minor. Something as simple as that. I can really get inside of that with my ear. And what happens is, this is an integral part of all of this. When you can really hear what you're playing, as opposed to thinking about what you're playing, that's when you start feeling emotionally connected to what you're playing. Because if you're just kind of going off of what it looks like, or what you're thinking about, it's really, really difficult. And I would maybe even say not impossible, but really, really difficult to feel like you're emotionally connected to it. Because music is all about using your ears. That's where the music comes from. Music doesn't come from your fingers. I mean, it does in the sense that your ear is ultimately, hopefully this is the goal, your ear's feeding your fingers the information. Your ears are informing your fingers as to what to play. So just hanging on 1, 2, 3 notes at the most, 4, okay. But, just my main point is just to really limit yourself to some notes that you don't have to think about, and just try to create melody. And like I said, get really inside the notes so you can really hear all the details of the notes. And what will happen is you'll be able to really hear what you're playing. You're going to start feeling more emotionally connected to what you're playing, and that'll grow from there to where you can add more notes, and everything you play you can really hear, and you're going to just kind of, along the journey of playing all these notes, you're going to feel connected to everything. And then that'll translate into playing stuff in time, and then eventually playing over chord progressions, and eventually you kind of make things more complex, but your ear is still tracking everything. So yeah, there's what's been a really helpful sort of way to practice this issue of just taking stuff and being more musical with it, and feeling more emotionally connected to the stuff that we play, or that I play. So I hope you guys give that a try. And for those friends on Facebook, friends of mine that are on Facebook, please let me know what you think about this. And if you give it a try, how it goes for you. I'd love to hear, or in the comment section of this video, let me know if you give this a try, how it goes for you. I'd love to hear what you guys think. And yeah, so give it a try, and I hope it works for you.